Yeah, we are currently in a different phase. We were in a phase of working with selective clients. We have worked with selective clients in the past in Saudi Arabia. We have worked with selective clients in the past in different areas in the region like Dubai and Egypt. But now we are in a shifting phase where we want to grow even further by tapping into more government projects, being aligned in projects that require PPP, for example. We believe that we have a strength in adding the management part, whether it's a healthcare or education or an industry that we're specialized in, and we can go to the government and add to the growth by bringing in a more developed consortium model. So it's for example, it could be a build, operate, and transfer, where we add into that, where we grow closer and add a more round and achievable model that gives a higher return to the community and to the economy. So we're into that phase right now, and we're planning to do this here in Saudi. We're planning to do this in the region. So we have different sizes of projects. We deal from clients that are in the you can say 50 million to serve a healthcare project or education project, up to the 150 millions, which are a specific type of project and then we go up to the 400 and 500 million riyals, where it's a more complicated infrastructure related projects, up to the 1.5 billion projects that grow from actual projects into cities, into a miniature healthcare city, into a miniature educational city. So once we go through that, it's a different phase and it's a different type of project, and there's a different requirement, whether it's from an engineering background or whether it's from a management background or whether it's from a country background. They need different electricity requirements, they need different municipality requirements, they need different... So it grows. But we are a growing company and we want to be more involved. The main idea is that we want to stick to our purpose of giving back and building projects that give back to the economy, plus sticking to our speciality, which is the healthcare and education projects. And we want to do more of these projects. We believe that we have a strength, and it's very unique when you know your strength, you become better at it, and you grow further in it, which is being a turnkey solution provider in the healthcare and education sectors. And we want to grow more in that, and we want to add more, especially that we had successful projects outside, and we are dealing with more projects now, especially that the region now is growing a lot in these industries. You're going to find a growth in the MENA region for the next 15, 20 years in the healthcare and education and mixed-use projects, because it all goes back to the part where there's a lot of young population here in the region, and they have a lot of requirements, and these requirements need to be addressed to. Even though we're a region that's always been there, but these countries have been there as a governmental governmental party that's ruling a certain geographical area. These countries are still new, so they still want to prove new points, and they still want to grow and give back to their citizens. And I believe that we are fortunate to be I'm fortunate to be Saudi, and I'm proud to be Saudi, and I'm proud to be in this era and at this time where we can actually give back. And I consider myself as a person from the young generation. I mean, you could consider yourself a person from the young generation, whatever age you're from. But I believe that we are fortunate, and we're fortunate that... and people have higher expectations nowadays. In general, like, people have higher expectations. They have always said globalization, and they have always spoken about globalization. But I believe globalization didn't happen, or happened only a few years ago. This is what I believe, because globalization was there from a tariff point of view, from crossing borders, in a way, between specific countries. But now, with the social media, globalization is there, and you can actually feel it. You can actually feel it. People are wearing the same brands. People have the same tastes. People eat the same food. People have the same expectations. People have higher standards. I always say, as a simple example, you can have a girl in a city, a small city or a village, in whatever country you want in the world, whether it's Lebanon or Saudi or any country, and she can compare her actual shoes to another girl living in Miami Beach, for example, in 1 second. Where if you look at this 10 years ago or 15 years ago, she was comparing her shoes or bag only to the people in her neighborhood. And her standard was only based on that. So she had that shoes which was of a specific type that compared to that neighborhood, where now she is comparing herself, or he is comparing himself, to someone in another part of the world in a matter of seconds. And this reflects on the high streets also. So you would go to any big city and you would walk on that high street and you would just suddenly feel that you know all the brands. And it's the same brands in every city and every high street. And a lot of this had to do with social media, where people had higher and still have higher standards. So therefore, countries have to spend more on their economies in order to meet this expectation. But this doesn't end to governments. It has a lot to do with the private sector. So private sector has to be involved and proactive in cooperating with the government. The government can do only so much. A lot of people misunderstand the government. The government is a facilitator. They're not supposed to do everything. They're supposed to facilitate people to achieve their end results. So it's a combination of work between the government and the private sector. But we as people should believe, everybody should believe that they can add to the economy, they can add and address these young, aspiring population. We have done things about that. We have created a real estate development company that's called Lifestyle Developers. And the aim of this company is to raise the standards of living. And the four core elements of this company is design, quality, affordability, and the community. So it's design, quality, affordability, and the community. And we are targeting, basically the idea is to raise the standards of living in the MENA region by focusing on middle income professionals, or the aspiring segment of people that want more, and giving them that combination of real estate, apartments or condominiums that fit to their needs and fit to the sizes that they can afford, with the designs that they want, with the simplicity and the actual wants, from appliances to kitchens to amenities, gyms, library, nurseries, everything available, indoor garden, outdoor garden. We believe that there's a lot of people who don't own their homes, and a lot of them are from the aspiring middle income, and we want to add to that by giving them a place or a property for them to buy, and they can call it a transitional home. We want to shift people's thoughts and thinking from renting to owning. We've realized that 65% of Saudis don't own homes. We've realized that 70% of the population is 18 to 30 something. We've realized that an average rental period is from 5 to 10 years. People think that they're going to rent for 2 years, but they end up renting for 10 years. And then in this period, you're leaving that property and not owning anything. Where on the other hand, you could probably purchase that smaller apartment, really nicely done, because this type of segment that we're focusing on, which is the middle income professionals or the aspiring segment, would not do a purchasing transaction without belonging to the product, whether it's design, whether it's quality, whether it's price. They would, in anything they own, in anything they buy, they are not going to do a sale or a purchase transaction without belonging to the product. So if it's that's why they don't buy real estate. That's why they rent real estate with the thought to save and build their own homes. But when we came out with this new concept of lifestyle developers, I actually went through that experience myself. That's why I created lifestyle developers. I was in the design and construction and industry, and I was doing good and things were going great. But then I went through this experience myself, and I realized that if I'm going through this experience and not finding a product that relates to me, and me knowing the industry and feeling that this product is extra, it's highly priced according to the product that you get and the quality you get. So what are other people or other young middle income professionals doing around? How are they getting the real estate? So I felt this sense of I have to do something about this, sense of responsibility. I felt responsible to do something, therefore I created this company, Lifestyle Developers, with a purpose. Even if you think of the name, you're going to realize that the name was chosen to develop the lifestyle. We wanted to be lifestyle developers with the aim to raise the standards of living and with the aim to give back to people and make affordability according to value of money. It's not affordable. We're not targeting low income. We believe that low income the government is doing a fantastic job at that and a good job, and we cannot compete with that. And the high income, they're also being targeted. They're class A people, and people are addressing it. So we believed and we saw a gap in the middle income aspiring people, which are the major contributors to the economy, because they're bankers, they're engineers, they're pilots, they're professionals in all different industries who are getting well-paid salaries, but they're not millionaires. Good salaries, but they're not millionaires, which creates a formula of, for them, they want to live well, they want to dress well, they want to eat well, they want to travel well, but they're not millionaires. So we found a formula for them to be able to live in the same standard that they want to live in by owning their home, whether they want to call it a transitional home, that they can go in and move to the next home and still own an asset. Whether they want to resell it, because real estate is always appreciating in value, or whether they want to rent it and have a source of income that will support them. And we have done this. And we have successfully done this here in Saudi Arabia. And we're planning to grow with this model even more. And we're planning to grow with it even in the region. We're planning to go to Egypt with it. We're planning to go to the Emirates with it. Because we believe that this region is growing in terms of standards. And it has a lot of young population. And they expect things to be done in a certain way. And you know what? They deserve it. They deserve having this certain lifestyle, especially we have in Saudi Arabia more than 200,000 people that are students that went on scholarships. At least 200,000 people. And they're all coming back with certain standards, certain education level. We have people coming back that are extremely highly educated. And these people are coming back. And they're coming back, and they're not going to only come back for salaries. They're not going to only come back for salaries. If you give up, I know people that got amazing salaries and really high salaries, but salaries are not enough. These people are looking for a certain lifestyle. They want to live in a certain home that they can wake up in the morning and be inspired. They don't want to get a great salary and live in a place that doesn't suit their whole lifestyle. Because they go to restaurants that reflect their personalities. And they travel to places that reflect their personalities. And they wear clothes that reflect their personalities. And they drive cars that reflect their personalities. Therefore, they have to live in homes that reflect their personalities. It's a complete, interactive lifestyle.